This is Walt Benetti, publisher of JeffParrishNews.com, and we're continuing our candidate interviews from the original Italian Five Kenner, 3600 Williams Boulevard. The sounds you hear in the background are the sounds of happy people eating great food, so stop on by the original Italian Five. Joining me now is State Representative Kirk Talbot, who is a candidate for State Senate in District 10. How you doing, Kirk?
Doing great, Walt. Thanks for having me.
Oh, not a problem. Tell us about your background and also your background as a state rep and what your major accomplishments were in the legislature.
My background, I'm born and raised in River Ridge. My family owns Lucky Dogs in the French Quarter. We've been in business since 1947. We've owned the business since 1969. In 2007, I ran for state representative for an open seat. Shirley Bowler was my predecessor. She was term limited, and I've been elected then and subsequently 2 terms after that.
And in the legislature, what do you think your major accomplishments were?
Well, I think one of my major accomplishments was a bill that I passed that allows video surveillance cameras in nursing home rooms. That's something that is kind of just coming on in this country. And, the nursing home lobby, Walt, is extremely powerful in Baton Rouge. They fight a lot of things that we try to do. We have some good nursing homes in Louisiana. We have some really poor ones in Louisiana. If you look at the ratings on, the amount of injuries, the cleanliness, all the indicators, we have a lot that are in pretty sorry shape. So Helena Moreno, who is now on the New Orleans City Council, we collaborated on this bill midway through the process. She got elected to the New Orleans City Council, so I took the bill from there and got it passed. And that's something that I think it just demonstrates my willingness to stand up to powerful interests in Baton Rouge and to get the job done regardless of what the hurdles are. That's a great bill. Now you can have the peace of mind and ease, so you can look at your phone and look at live video footage of your loved one. You can have a recorder in there, so if you think something is not going right, you can go back and look at it. And I think it's an important bill, and it was a hard fight, but we got it done.
Speaking of powerful interests, I know you made attempts to try to lower auto insurance rates, and the insurance lobby is massive. I mean, I went up against them a few years ago with the Clarity Act, which you supported. Thank you for that.
You're welcome.
And to try to lower property insurance rates. Talk about the insurance task force, because at the time, while I thought it was a noble cause, and certainly we need lower insurance rates in Louisiana, I was kind of on the fence about the task force because there were so many industry people in there from the insurance lobby, and I know Jim Donnelly was involved with that as well. I had hoped that the group would be independent. But talk about that. About the task force.
The group was independent. We had members from insurance industry. We had Bob Kleinpeter, who's head of the Trial Bar Association. So we had the other side there. Unfortunately, the other side never brought anyone to testify. No testimony from lawyers or trial lawyers. We had testimony from insurance agents. We had testimony from the trucking industry, testimony from farmers, from regular people, from school bus drivers, and on and on. And look, the situation we have right now is untenable. On the commercial side, commercial insurance industry in Louisiana is collapsed. We only have 2 companies left that will even write insurance. And what I mean by a commercial vehicle, not just 18-wheelers, we're talking tour buses, school buses, tow trucks, dump trucks, commercial, AC vehicles, engineers that use big 3/4-ton vehicles. So, 6 companies left last year, and they're leaving. And when insurance companies stop taking your money, Walt, we got a major problem. On the private side, we have availability, but it's really high. We're the second highest in the nation. We're about to become the sole spot at number 1 because Michigan just passed a sweeping tort reform. The legislation that I put together was a combination of different recommendations from that task force. We never voted on that bill because a lot of members of the task force, by definition of who they represent, aren't allowed to vote yes or no on a piece of legislation, but we all contributed to the concept. I can tell you this, everyone on that task force, except for Senator Wesley Bishop, who's an attorney, and Bob Kleinpeter, supported that bill, House Bill 372. So I've heard criticism that, the task force didn't endorse this bill or didn't support this bill. I think there were 14 members of the task force, 12 of us supported it.
If you move to the Senate, how will you tackle auto insurance rates?
Well, I learned a lot. I'm not in the insurance business, but I am a consumer of insurance, and I think there's some things that we can tweak and add to that bill. What that bill did, it had a lot for everybody. The trial lawyers, and they need to play a part in this because, we need trial lawyers. We need lawyers to keep insurance companies honest and vice versa. My goal in this is to help the consumer, not to help one side or the other, not to help the insurance companies or the trial lawyers. It's always been to help the consumer. So, for example, we extended the prescription period in my bill, which we're one of only 3 states that has a 1-year prescription period, and that means you have 1 year to file an auto accident lawsuit. Trial lawyers really wanted that extension. Insurance companies really did not want it. But in this instance, I agree with the trial lawyers. We're an outlier in that area. If you look at states that have a longer prescription period, they have a longer time to settle a case, and they're not forced to sue on day 365. So I put that in there, and that was a part of it. We need to bring everyone together. We don't need to hammer one side or the other. We need people involved. We had a good start last year. Overwhelmingly passed the House with 69 votes. That's 3 votes shy of 1 vote shy of a supermajority, of a 2/3 majority. We had 3 members that weren't there that would have voted yes. So it flew out of there. We ticked the Senate floor. We did a survey. We knew it would have passed the Senate floor. We went into a committee made up of 6 attorneys and 1 businessman, and we lost 5-1. So I think this is a movement that has started, and I don't think it's going anywhere. I think people demand action, and all I'm asking to do in that bill was align us with what every other state does. I wasn't asking us to go into a brave new world and just kind of hold our hands and trust me that we're going to try something that's never been done. All aspects of that bill are what everybody else does. We're just outliers in these areas.
Now, the Senate District 10 is pretty spread out. It goes from Kenner to River Ridge to Harahan, parts of Metairie. You're from Harahan. Your opponent is from Kenner.
Yeah, I'm from River Ridge, actually, but I represent Harahan.
Right. Okay, so River
I'm
Ridge.
proud to.
Okay. How will you bridge that divide? Because obviously politics is pretty parochial, and you have 2 municipalities in there that will both be fighting for your attention and money from the state.
Well, I think my record as a state representative demonstrates that I can bridge that divide. My House district currently is unincorporated Metairie, River Ridge, and Harahan, which is obviously its own municipality. So I represent 3 distinct district parts of East Jefferson right now, and I think I've done a good job of bringing them all together. And when you deal with things like drainage and infrastructure projects, you got to look at the whole picture. Things in Kenner benefit River Ridge and vice versa. When you look at drainage and infrastructure and quality of life, it's kind of like a tide that lifts all boats. So I think my experience in not being parochial and looking at the big picture will benefit me in representing Kenner and more unincorporated areas with the district I represent.
When you're out there and you're knocking on doors, what are people telling you are the biggest areas and the biggest issues for them and the biggest issues for the district?
Different parts of the district have different issues. We have the problem with the landfill in River Ridge and Harahan, which has been a problem for a year. And I finally I got DEQ to carve out some money for our own air quality monitoring station that we will have by the end of the next several months in River Ridge and the Harahan area. The Jefferson Parish Council is doing some things. They're building a ring of air quality monitoring systems around the West Bank and East Bank areas. And, I think, infrastructure is obviously always an issue. But I can tell you one thing that everyone agrees on. Everybody is tired of paying these exorbitant rates of auto insurance. That is something that I have yet to find somebody on my door-to-door campaign that says auto insurance are too low. They're fine where they are. They all agree this is getting to critical mass, and people are fed up with it.
With the landfill, why do you think it took so long for the parish to take action? And why do you think we still don't have an answer 2 years later as to what exactly caused the problem? I mean, I have my suspicions, but what exactly caused the problem and how we can fix it, and also the long-term impacts on people, their health issues, and also real estate property values in your area?
Well, in my opinion, and Mrs. opinion is based on the data that I've looked at, the people that I've spoken to with the landfill and DEQ, is the escaping gas from the landfill. When I toured the landfill last year, I toured River Birch, the privately run landfill, then I toured our landfill. And, River Birch collects about 95% of their escaping gas, sells it, makes good money off of it, good for them. In Jefferson Parish landfill, we were only collecting like less than 10%. That, I think, is the main culprit. I do think there are other sources of smell, maybe Cornerstone, maybe things on the river. I think we won't be able to nail those down until we get the landfill under control. But to ask you why it takes so long, it's simple. It's not privatized. If we privatize that landfill and, you have a private company that's going to lose money when that gas is escaping and not collecting it, I think that is something that really needs to be explored. I think there are almost up to a dozen different contractors that run that landfill. And, it's fortunately or unfortunately, however you look at it, when you do big contracts at public landfills like that, you can't just wave a magic wand and have somebody come in and fix it. You got to put it out to bid. You got to do an environmental study. Carlson just came out with their report a few months ago on what needs to be done. River Birch is going to get that contract. I believe it's going to be signed October 2nd, and they're going to go in there, put 70 new wellheads, put new pumps. They're going to start repairing the ones that are there now. I think they're already doing that. And that, I think, is going to turn the corner on collecting that escaping gas. And once that happens, then we can narrow down and see what other sources of the smell are. And I do think there are other sources other than the landfill.
So you think the answer is privatizing the landfill and getting the parish out of the landfill owning business?
I think that really needs to be looked at. I just think when you have the private company that is incentivized to collect that gas, I think that is something. I don't know if I would definitely say that's what needs to be done, but I think it really needs to be looked at. I mean, we've run the landfill publicly, or the parish has, for years, and here we are.
So if you move to the Senate and if you're elected on October 12th, what do you think you'll be able to accomplish there that you weren't able to accomplish as a state representative? Or is it just different responsibilities and a different avenue?
Well, a lot of our good legislation that we pass in the House dies in the Senate. My auto insurance bill, for one. But we've had good bills on Medicaid transparency, for example, where we wanted the Department of Health and Hospitals, LDH, to look at Medicaid recipients' income levels, because we were getting reports that people who were making over $100,000 were receiving Medicaid. That bill flew out of the House, died in the Senate committee. Then we come to find out that over 10,000 people who make over $100,000 a year are getting Medicaid. We had bills during the general years of budget transparency, of prohibiting using one-time money for recurring expenses. All the things that you can look at that cause our so-called deficit were bills that we had to stop all that. They all flew out of the House and they all died in the Senate. The Senate obviously is going to have a major makeup. I believe we have 39 senators, we're having like 18 or 20 new senators. So it's going to be an entirely different chessboard. I think with my experience and my veteran leadership, I think that I can hit the ground running. I think I got a good shot at being the chairman. I think I got a good shot at being involved in leadership, and there will be no learning curve for me in this state Senate.
Do we need a constitutional convention to unlock some of the fiscal restraints that are on the legislature and on our budget?
I believe we do. The real question is, what is it going to look like? Who's going to serve on it? Are we going to look at certain things? Are we going to open it up for everything? That's a debate that needs to happen with a lot of people in the room. I'll give you another example. We've had bills in the House that have passed dealing with undedicating statutory deductions that have, again, always died in the Senate. We have very little say-so over our state budget because so much of it is locked up constitutionally and statutorily. It's not all constitutional, but I think it's time to have a constitutional convention. The devil's in the details, but we need a little reset button. We need to hit the reboot button.
With early voting starting this Saturday, how can people get in touch with you and find out more about your platform and your issues and the things that drive you and get involved in your campaign? Put up a sign or donate or knock on doors.
They can go to www.talbotforsenate.com. They can email me at kirk@talbotforsenate.com. JPN.com. We have a Facebook page. Obviously, we have a website. So any of those things you can do to contact us. We'd love to have your help. We always need more signs put up, more door walkers, more door hangers, more people waving signs, people stuffing envelopes, making phone calls, phone banking. So, those are the best way to reach me. You can, private message me on Facebook or do the things that I mentioned before.
So TalbotForSenate.com, and they can get in touch with you and get involved in the campaign.
Yes. Thank you.
We appreciate your time, Representative Talbot. Good luck.
Anytime, Walt. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Good.